Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How are you guys? I need to speak to this internet company, man. Internet is slow sometimes for no reason. Even though no one is using it, but it's slow. Even though it's it's supposed to be a very high speed. Pay considering and stuff. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everyone doing? We're gonna do the Q&A today instead of tomorrow. Are you not a Muslim, Isabella? You can jump on and talk. If you're not Muslim, we can talk about it. If you love the content and interested in Islam stuff, why don't you jump on? Let me know. Okay. Some people jumping differently. It's either, most of the time, it's either Saturday or Sunday. Mostly it's Sunday. But today we're going to do Saturday. This is usually the time for the Q&As. I think they're doing better than the Muslims, isn't it? Some of the Muslims are not there, while some of the non-Muslims are clearly following. They're doing a better job. Muslims are asking one time, and I don't get non-Muslims asking one time. Well, I get some, obviously, but seems like many of them are like keeping up. We're gonna put the link in a bit, not now. Let's just some people come and then we put the link, inshallah. Take some questions from the comments first. Not gonna be long today, but we take some questions from the comments first. Some people are like, subhanallah. Some topics like interest Muslims for some reason. I don't know. I don't know the reason, but it does interest them. Just some topics like strangely interest Muslims. Can I join? I'm a Muslim with doubts. Yeah, you can join, but right now I'm going to take questions from the comments first, inshallah. Yeah? Then you can join. Where does the Quran say that? No, we don't consider them our enemies. Like, some of them are our enemies, definitely. Like the Zionists, for example. Some of them are, but it just depends on which ones. Is there any evidence that sihr is real? The Quran is the evidence that sihr is real. Are you reading the Quran? Surah Al-Falaq, for example, chapter 2 of the Quran, where Allah Azza wa Jal speaks about Harut wa Marut. يعلمان الناس السحر. How are they going to teach the people sihr and there is no sihr? Also the Musa alayhi salam and the magicians. وسحروا أعين الناس واسترهبوهم وجاءوا بسحر عظيم. Allah says a great magic, سحر عظيم. How is there no magic when they're using magic there? So if you're a Muslim, the Quran should be enough for you as an evidence. والله الحمد لله. الحمد لله. Inshallah, we'll see. Inshallah. We need just to find the right people. We'll see, inshallah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most of the time, yeah. Not everyone in the government, even I would say, but yeah. If you want to talk about the higher ups, of course, the people who are murdering Muslims, there is no doubt about that. So it depends on the person, basically. Uh, hmm. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're well. Can you explain ayah 2956? 2956? Uh, I don't know what you want to explain in this verse. يا عبادي الذين آمنوا إن أرضي واسعة فإياي فاعبدون. Oh my servants, my earth or my land is vast, so worship me. What explanation are you looking for? The verse is clear, you know. I don't think it needs an explanation. Or my servants who believe, my earth is vast, to worship me. You can travel all over the earth to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. There shouldn't be anything stopping you from worshiping Allah. The earth is vast, right? So if you are being persecuted in a land, Allah's land is vast. The earth is vast. Travel to a different place, you can worship Allah Azza wa Jal. It's not an excuse, basically. But the verse, I think, is like clear. Some questions are like seriously weird, man. Uh, we like to answer questions that have knowledge actions based on them. Imam Malik, rahimahullah, he used to hate answering any questions that is not to do with actions. So it's not something you're actually going to do, but just asking for curiosity, and these type of reasons are. This is not what. Sometimes this is what makes me think: is it good to do this Q&A or what? Because sometimes I feel like it's maybe time is invested in somewhere else. But because some people are taking the time from questions from people who want to ask like sincere questions or serious questions. Yeah, you can do da'wah with other than the Quran and Sunnah, with reasoning that is based on the Quran and Sunnah. For example, it's not necessarily the verse or a hadith, but you use, of course, like everyone does da'wah. Yani. You have to speak, isn't it? You have to use speech. You cannot be just speaking. Allah Azza wa Jal said, Allah Azza wa Jal said, and you're not going to say any other words. Or the Prophet ﷺ said. Of course, you have to also say other things, reasoning, explain the verses of the Quran, etc. All of these things you can do. Well, I am of the opinion that under any circumstance, unless it's a real necessity, necessity is something that people, like, necessity is like someone is about to die. These are the types of necessities that Islam talks about. So unless it's a necessity, I'm of the opinion that a woman should not travel without a mahram, based on the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That it's not permissible for a woman that believes in Allah and the last day to travel one day, a distance of one day without a mahram. Or in another hadith, without any distance limitations. It's just traveling without a mahram. Without a mahram, sorry. And also, you've got there's a hadith about a man who uh, his wife wanted to do Hajj, and this and that. And then the Prophet ﷺ said to her, she's not allowed without a mahram. And that was Hajj, Hajj or Umrah, one of the two. So if it's an Hajj and Umrah like this, imagine just the normal travel. And you can see the harm effects that we have in these days with these women. People sending their daughters from Pakistan and Bangladesh and this and that. They're sending their daughters to study in the West. These daughters come here, become feminists, and they become kuffar, disbelievers. They go with Michael, and they have a child with Michael, and then and John and Luke, their boyfriends, and they come to their families with a little John. This is what we're getting, yani, or just having zina in the university, blah blah blah. Allah musta'an. Well, not always Michael, but yeah, there's a lot of Michaels. Like if your comment is deleted, it's probably deleted by one of the moderators. So you need to check what you said. Based on what you said, we can see if your comment was deleted or not. Inshallah. Someone is saying turn on the translation. How can I turn on a translation on a live stream, man? You cannot turn on the translation on live stream, brother. Sorry, I don't use these complicated terms. Explain what you mean by that. Explain in human language, in lay terms, and I will answer your question. I don't get what your question is exactly about. Yes, the stream is going to be private for eternity. Yeah, so no one else can see it. Come on, I don't know why people are commenting on this a lot. There is videos of me without a cap, man. It's not like something like hidden or something like that. It's like, 200,000 subscribers special, me without a hat. Come on, man. Like, what's going on? Uh, and I wouldn't say Shiism is not a part of Islam, and I wouldn't say Shiism is a part of Islam. The teachings within Shiism that are in the Quran and the Sunnah are a part of Islam, and the teachings that are not a part of Islam. But I'm not going to give you a general holistic statement like this. There are things that Shia believe that are a part of Islam, like believing in Prophet Muhammad and the Quran, etc. Yes, of course, based on the opinion that I just said and the hadith that I mentioned, it is a sin. Prophet saying it's not permissible for a woman that believes in Allah on the last day. What does this look like to you? If a woman believes in Allah on the last day, she's not going to do it. Of course, it's a sin according to that opinion and hadith. A Latino friend asked me, why is there no mention of other parts of the world like Latin America, since Islam's story is fixated mostly in the Middle East? How can I answer a question like that? Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, وَإِن مِّنْ أُمَّةٍ إِلَّا خَلَا فِيهَا نَذِيرٌ, and there is no nation except that Allah sent them a messenger. Okay? So we believe there was messengers all over every nation, any place where people existed in the past, and they needed a messenger, Allah sent them a messenger. Right? وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا, in chapter 16 of the Quran. We've sent to every nation a messenger saying, worship Allah and avoid false gods. Allah is telling us some stories. Like, for example, some stories of certain prophets in certain areas. We don't know where Nuh alayhi salam was. Who said this Nuh alayhi salam was in the Middle East necessarily, right? So there are certain prophets that we do not know the specific locations that they were in that are mentioned in the Quran as well. So it's not like all of them were in the Middle East necessarily. But the Quran is firstly addressing the people who are in the Middle East. But Allah is telling us generally stories that have benefits, wisdoms, and we learn from the wisdoms. It's not where the Prophet was or he wasn't, basically. But that's the answer to your question. Do Ash'aris believe the Quran is created? Yeah, the scholars of Ash'aris believe the Quran is created. If you don't believe me, go to Tafsir al-Razi, open Tafsir al-Razi, and go to the where Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 6. Yeah, where it says حتى يسمع كلام Allah, and see where he explicitly tells you, goes into deep intellectual reasoning why the Quran is created. If you understand Arabic, yeah. If you don't, then you don't need to read. Anyone who lies and he claims they don't, they look. Ash'aris believe in two Qurans. One Quran is the one that we recite, Alif Lam Mim, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. This Quran they believe is created. Now they believe in something else called the Kalam al-Nafsi, the speech of Allah, the internal speech of Allah, which is in essence is knowledge. because they say that speech is not spoken out loud, so it's not sound or letters, which is in reality is knowledge. So they conflate knowledge with what they call internal speech, which is like the speech, أعوذ بالله, like the speech of the hypocrites in the Quran. Like Allah says in the Quran, يقولون في أنفسهم لولا يعذبنا الله بما نقول. The hypocrites, they say themselves, why would let's see if Allah is going to punish us. So the hypocrites are speaking this internal speech, and they attribute this internal speech to Allah Azza wa Jal. And then they say the other Quran, Alif Lam Mim, these are sounds and letters, and this is created, and all of this is rubbish basically. So they say the Quran is created in essence. They have two Qurans, yeah. So you have to ask them which Quran are you. Because that's why when you ask them, they will say to you the Quran is not created. They're referring to the internal speech. So you have to ask them exactly. You have to know how to ask the question so you can know the answer. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. I got some. Okay, can you address claim embryology in the Quran is wrong, as it says the bone came before the flesh, as it's the same as embryology of Galen, which Rasul supposedly copied from Ibn Khaldan? The answer is science is something which changes every day. By the way, I don't agree that science anyway says that the bone comes before the flesh. I don't agree with this. I think you're misunderstanding the. You can do some research on this issue yourself, and you'll find conflicting opinions on this issue because it's a changing science, right? Whether it happens in the same time, whether one happens before the other one, all of this, these are all things which are contested. The reason, my simple answer is the Quran is from God, therefore I don't need to argue too much into this issue. No, I'm not going live tomorrow. Most likely not, unless there's a different plan. 99% no. That's why I'm live today, isn't it? What's the point of being live today, man? Am I lagging for other people or just for this brother? I think maybe just for this brother. Maybe his internet is slow because I don't have any sign that the internet is bad. Brothers, يعني some people like. Yes, I know. Yeah, probably. I'm not lagging because I can see usually where the speed is bad. I can see it. لا إله إلا أنت Yeah, read حلية طالب العلم. حلية طالب العلم is a great, excellent book. Read إن شاء الله. حلية طالب العلم. You can also read Ibn Abd al-Barr one about adab, the manners of the student. This is a bit maybe bigger. You start with حلية طالب العلم maybe. Or you can read الشمائل المحمدية by Tirmidhi. You see the Prophet ﷺ, his description. This is the best you can get as well. So there are many basically books that I can recommend. And the Quran, of course. There's no doubt about that. Isabella, you didn't answer me, or maybe I didn't see your answer. Are you a non-Muslim or you're a Muslim? I didn't read this book, no. What is he asking about? What are you asking about? AQ. Put your question. I didn't see your question. Yeah, that's true. We don't attribute parts, term parts to Allah Azza wa Jal. It's not used in the Quran or Hadith, which is in Arabic would be juz. And this idea, this term, anyways, it's a made-up term used by the philosophers who conflated between attributes and parts. And the reason they did that is because many of them are Christian. They're trying to make a separation and say that, look, a speech of Allah become a human being, which is Jesus. So if you believe that the attributes are parts, then these parts are separable. Therefore, there's no problem if a speech becomes an entity. We don't. Attribute is very different from a part. Okay, yeah, we don't use that term part. Term part is not in the Quran or Sunnah. The book in the back is not real. It's in the Quran. What are you talking about? أما من أوتي كتابه وراء ظهره. People shouldn't be answering questions to each other in the comments. Otherwise, the point of it being a Q&A if you guys are answering each other, you know? If you don't know, don't speak without knowledge. Yani, whoever you are in the comments, be careful. I will put the link soon, by the way, for everyone throwing these questions here and there. In a few minutes, I'll put the link. Oh, I don't know what they're talking about, but because they're all talking to each other. Well, there's a difference between brother and my brother, and this is even an issue of disagreement, by the way. There are some scholars that allow that. Yeah, some scholars they said, yeah, okay, this was when Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَإِلَىٰ عَادٍ أَخَاهُمْ هُودًا, etc. Hud alayhi salam, he attributed brotherhood to his people, and his people were disbelievers. He said because they were close in relationship. It's still a blood relation. So there are scholars who allowed that you can say that. But there is a way to get rid of it that I try to do. I say brother. I don't say my brother. I say brother or sister. Brother or sister. I don't say my brother and my sister. There's a difference between the two. Because sometimes I get this DMs, brother, don't say this. And they quote someone, and yeah, subhanAllah. People need to seek some knowledge, obviously, before they start advising, you know. The point is, to say my brother and to say brother are two different things. And Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, he mentioned this, by the way. He said a way to get out of this disagreement, you can say brother, akh, ya akh. Instead of saying akhi, my brother, you say ya akh, oh brother, that meaning that he's the brother of someone. You know, it's not your brother, but he's the brother of someone else or the sister of someone else. So this is a way to get away from it. But even my brother, I said there are scholars that I know that allowed this. If I do something good, but of course, the scholars that allowed this, they said as long as there is no misunderstanding that he starts to think that you are his brother in faith, but he understands. So you can say, for example, my brother in humanity, and explain that you're saying in humanity clearly, so they don't get confused. So those scholars they say that's a condition as well to say it, basically the one that allow it. If I do something good, but the intention, okay, it's a nice way to say intention, but I think you meant intention. To get rewarded in afterlife is not a selfish intention and may be bad. I'm afraid of this. What should we feel and think we do, good brother? Yeah, you do for the akhirah. Your actions, Allah in the Quran tells you to do the actions for the afterlife. There is nothing wrong in that. That's good. You do it for because Allah commanded you, and He told you get rewarded in the afterlife. You do it to for the akhirah. You see, the FBI listen to the FBI. I think this is the only time in my life that I'm going to say listen to the FBI. So listen to the FBI, yeah. FBI, they seem to be following me now, and they give him good advice as well. Some strange things are happening since we said the American government. We got the FBI now. this is not a Christian Bible study, you know. If you have questions about the Quran and Sunnah, we can speak about it. This fascination of the meaning of the verses and how can I respond and this and that is, it's not something which is good. Wallahi, witr is Sunnah, based on the man that came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, tell me things that I do, and then it suffices me, and I don't leave them. So the Prophet told him the 5 prayers. And then the man said, do I need to do anything else? And the Prophet ﷺ said to him, no. If it was wajib, the Prophet would have told him, you also need to pray witr, because it's obligatory. So that hadith is clear cut on this issue. Okay, let's put the link now. Please, when you join, follow the format. The link won't be there, or let's say, okay. Okay, the link should be there now. Okay. Yes, you make up that day. And next time, look at the time properly. You cannot just like break your fast in the wrong time. Okay, that's good. So read it, inshallah. And if you got any questions, you're welcome to come on. Next time, I'm live, if you can't come this time. So give it a read, inshallah. And that's it, yeah. Since you're watching the videos, you should get a lot of questions answered as well. But don't get confused with this Q&A, because we go into so many topics and stuff, yeah? Take it step by step. For everyone, because Muslims are always complaining. Q&A is for everyone, including Muslims. Okay, let's start with the people in the backstage now. Brother. I'm not calling you brother, but your name is brother, yeah? Okay, yeah, I'm bringing you on now, yeah? Okay. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? I can't hear you, by the way. You okay? Come another time then, because you're not working. Muhammad Z, gonna bring you on, yeah?
Yeah.
Alaikum.
How you doing, brother? You good?
I'm good. I might put you back in the backstage. You focus on your driving, you know?
No, I've just stopped now. I've stopped.
Okay.
No, I've
No
stopped. I've
problem.
stopped now. I've stopped.
No
Yeah.
problem. Okay.
I
Go
saw
ahead.
you online, so I thought it was a good time to come and ask a few questions.
Barakallah feek. How are you? Good?
Yeah, good, not bad. I'm actually working right now, so I saw you online,
MashaAllah.
so I put myself offline.
Barakallah feek.
So just a few questions, brother. You know.
Okay, do you know the format or no? Do you know the format?
No, I don't know the format. Go ahead,
Okay,
because I didn't join from the start.
no problem. The format is for every Q&A is the same. Every person gets 2 questions. Yeah, not 2 questions within 2 questions within 2 questions, because a lot of people do that. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
2 questions. We
That's
don't
fine.
mention specific individuals, specific names. What do you think about X? What do you think about Z? This person and that person. Do not mention stop praising me or this or that or this person or that person. Let's focus on the Christian Q&A, and that's it. This is the
Okay,
format.
that's fine.
So
Yeah.
go ahead, inshallah.
So it's just regarding the prayers, brother. So I've lived here in the UK for a long time, and when I came new, you get into this lifestyle here, and I didn't really do my prayers that much. But in the last couple of years now, I've started taking the religion very serious. But all those years that I've missed my prayers, like for example, let's say 10, 15 years, what's the best way to go on and make up for those prayers?
You did these times you didn't pray at all. No
I
Jum'ah,
would say
no
maybe
nothing.
probably. I'll be honest, no, brother. No. Very
خلا-
hardly.
well, the opinion I take is you don't have to make up
Mm,
those prayers, because I do believe the person who leaves the prayer completely is not Muslim. That's the opinion I
mm.
take, right? So if based on the opinion, you don't have to make up the prayers, because when the person comes back to pray, he comes back to be a Muslim basically. So if you come back to Islam, you don't basically, the sins that prior to
It's
Islam
not like I
are
left
removed.
Islam. I didn't leave Islam.
No, no,
It
no.
was
I'm
just
not
that,
saying to you.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying to you left Islam. I'm saying to you the
Mm-hmm.
opinion I follow
Mm-hmm.
says that if a person leaves the prayer, whether a person likes it or not, if he completely leaves the prayer, he's by default not a Muslim. You understand?
Mm.
So that is the
Even
opinion.
if you did 1 or 2 a day, or maybe once a
But
week,
that's
you
what.
did
No,
few.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. That's different. That's why I was asking you. Even Jum'ah, he didn't pray. If he
Mm.
prays even one prayer, even just Jum'ah, he's still a Muslim. I'm saying completely
Okay.
abandons the prayer based on
No,
the
no, I
hadith.
didn't completely abandon it. So maybe, for example, we've got the 5 prayers. So I would do one prayer, for example, or 2 prayers, or in a week I'll do 2 or 3 days prayers, and then the other 4 days I wouldn't pray, for example.
Yes, as I
Maybe I'll
said,
do
brother.
one. Yeah. Mm,
As I said, it's an issue of disagreement. There are scholars who say
mm,
to make it up. There's scholars who say don't make it up. I'm of the opinion that you don't make it up. You can make it
mm,
up if what is the best option to make it up and to get outside of the disagreement. That's that.
mm,
Of course, that would be the best thing to do. But is it a
mm.
necessity? I'm not going to tell you yes, because as I said, there are two opinions on this issue. That
If
you
you
should
want to
make it up
make
or
it
you
up,
should.
what's the best way? Because I feel like in my heart, I feel like I want to make it up.
Usually, I say to the people, just pray 2 prayers a day instead of one. So 2 Fajr, one Fajr to make up, and the normal Fajr of the day. It's an easy way to make it up, because there's not a
Gotcha.
specific way to make it up. Whatever is easier and accessible for you, inshallah.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And the second question, brother, in regards to, I saw this videos on YouTube about the inheritance in Islam. I can't remember the exact verses, but it mentions in the Quran where it goes over 100 or it goes over 1, for example. They say the numbers don't make up. Do you know what I'm talking
Can
about
you repeat that
exactly?
again? Can you repeat that again?
The inheritance. Like
Yeah,
for
that's
example,
rubbish. Yeah, that's rubbish.
yeah, is
Yeah,
that
that's
how?
rubbish. Right. In the
I just
Quran,
don't quite. Yeah,
where does the Quran doesn't say Allah is trying to make a whole one?
but yeah.
Where does the Quran state that? This is the premise, the faulty premise of those people. Is that
Mm,
they assume that this formula given in the Quran is trying to make a whole one, but it's not. All the Quran is doing is giving specific portions to specific individuals in specific situations. Now, anything extra left, the scholars have explained how that thing is given, right? It's given to the male relative, etc., the person who's left alive, etc. It depends on the situation of the inheritance, how many children are left, etc. If there is any money left, if there's no money left,
mm,
if less money is left, then it's equally distributed based on the Quranic calculation to those individuals. If the money is less, right? But the Quran is
mm,
given a formula. Quran
mm.
is not saying this is one whole. So this is anyways an assumption those people make that is not a part of our belief. So there
Gotcha.
is no
Yeah,
issues there. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? Yeah.
yeah. And when I was researching it as well, not all the scenarios will always apply because there's a few.
It's a
Like
formula. That's what I'm saying
yeah,
to you. It's
mm,
a criteria of when this happens, do this. If this happens, do this. So in these situations what to do. And
what
there's
to do.
nothing there about making one whole or anything like that. This is like, it's not a mathematical formula. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's what made it confused. Okay, that
Yes,
answers
yes.
it. Yeah, yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
No
brother.
problem.
Yeah,
Assalamu alaikum,
thank you.
brothers. Assalamu alaikum.
Take.
Okay, Kenneth, turn your camera on, please. Okay, I can bring you on if you can't turn your camera on. Okay, Faisal, turn your camera on, please. Okay, can turn it off now. Brother, are you ready this time? Give me a thumbs up. You sure? Okay. You ready now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Go
Okay,
ahead.
assalamu alaikum.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Alaikum salam. Yeah.
just quick note. I actually went to Umrah and I saw a brother look just like you. I wish I took a picture that I can show you. I know it wasn't you, but
Always people say this stuff, but it's not true. They keep saying, "Oh, you like this? You look like this person. You look like that." I don't look like any of what those people are saying. It's like this like those people, all those people who say all black people are the same or all Asian people are the same.
Yeah.
Now it's all Arabs are the same. Yeah, it's like
no,
you look very different.
he wore the hat just like you too, like the same kind of hat. But
There's
no
many people
problem.
who wear hats, brother.
No, I know it was more than
Hey,
that, but
inshallah, no problem.
yeah,
Go
no
ahead,
problem. Yeah,
inshallah.
no
What is your
problem.
questions, brother?
So yeah,
Yes.
I heard people say that like the sira, like if you read like a sira book, the information there is not necessarily authentic. So is that true? And if so, like why is sira, like why is the level
It
not
depends
to be
on
like
the book.
authentic information?
It depends
So
on
is
the
there
book.
are there
Some
some
scholars,
siras?
because this is the history. History is like this: is you report the hearsay of the people. That's what history is. So when someone writes sira, or it's history book, so they write the history that is being reported. But many of them put the chains. So you do the work. They say you do the work. There's a chain,
Yeah.
right? And then you'll find out whether it's authentic or not. If they don't give you a chain, then if you don't find a chain for that report, then that report is not authentic, right? So many of the scholars, they save you time by giving you the chain, and some scholars don't. But and then are some books that have only authentic. Yeah, it all depends. Yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
there's a one general rule for everything. Okay.
Got it. Okay. That answers it. Thank you. So my
Yeah, look,
last
this
question.
one is first time I see. Where is wait, because the comments are going quickly. There was a nice comment here. Yes, this one. Look, history, his story. It's. I think it's, this is quite interesting. Yeah, could be related to the language. Yeah. So yeah, it's like hearsay basically. Go ahead. Yeah. What is
Yeah,
the
I
second thing you
understand.
want to say?
Yeah. So
Hmm.
maybe a few months ago there was a brother and he mentioned like being at speaker's corner, and he basically told them like you shouldn't be listening to people's like conversations, especially when there's like different shubahat that are being spewed out there. So my question is, I mean, I don't want to specify the stream you were on, but there's kind of a online format that's essentially similar to a speaker's corner. So do you just like suggest not listening to those kind of stuff at all, or like what's your stance on that?
I don't get your question. What are you trying to say?
So okay, yeah. So you told a brother like not to even like be at speaker's corner because of there's like different shubahat that is being spread on there.
Yeah,
So
and
would you?
he's a layman. I said to him, because he's a
Yeah, for
layman who
layman.
doesn't know
Yeah.
he doesn't know the basics. Therefore, he
Hmm.
shouldn't be. He shouldn't be in a place where he's listening to shubuhat. Yes, if there is any place, whatever that
Hmm.
place is, in which it's a pit hole of shubuhat,
Hmm.
right? Where there are people specially coming. Yeah, they
Yeah.
are coming to put shubuhat. They're not really interested
Hmm.
in Islam, where a person is calling them to Islam. No,
Right. Right.
they are coming to put doubts, to throw
Yeah.
doubts. You get what I'm trying to say? And
Exactly.
then
Yeah.
there's someone who trying to answer them. Sometimes he doesn't answer them well. No, no,
Yeah.
of course, a Muslim shouldn't be in that situation. Yeah, shouldn't be listening to
Yeah.
that.
Because there's like I've noticed there's even like online platforms where people are inviting people to kind of spread shubahat, and then
Yeah, look, I gave you the answer, and
yeah, I
people
understand. I understand.
they know what they should do, what they shouldn't do, but they still do what they like. So may Allah Azza wa Jal guide us all. Okay, I'll let you go,
All right,
brother. Yeah,
brother. Thank you. Assalamu
no
alaikum.
problem. Alaikum salam. Okay, student of knowledge says Iman. I don't know how he's a student of knowledge, but yeah, Iman is in the heart. We can't judge if a woman doesn't wear hijab. How can I advise a person with differences? Also, they say jilbab is not allowed in USA because it said we must wear their clothes. What is this nonsense? Yani, question. I apologize, but the question is so like ridiculous in so many ways. Okay, look, Iman. The actions are part of Iman according to the Quran, according to Hadith, and according to the Quran, both. Right? If you read the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal clearly stipulates that in the beginning of Surah Al-Anfal. Yeah, go to the Quran, open the Quran, read the first 7 or 8 verses of Surah Al-Anfal. You see that Allah Azza wa Jal explicitly states the actions. He mentions certain deeds, and he describes them to be a part of Iman. So actions are part of Iman, and the Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that removing harm from the road, it's a part of the Iman. So we got that hadith, and haya, and all of these things, shyness, all of these things are a part of iman. They're actions. So actions are part of iman, and statement, which is la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, is also a part of iman according to the Quran and Sunnah. So iman is a belief in the heart, statement of the tongue, and actions. So you cannot take actions out of iman. This is what Murji'ah did, and this is a belief of the Murji'ah, which is a deviated sect, right? So he's not a student of knowledge if he says that. I don't know what student of knowledge you're talking about. You don't even know. Then you don't know what a student of knowledge is if you're saying that. Okay. And by the way, I don't know if you're a Shia or no, because you say Ali alayhi salam or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. We don't want to make assumptions. But okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is we can't judge if a woman. We can judge. I put a hadith in my community page. You can go. Or Umar ibn Khattab says we can judge a parent of the people, but we leave their intentions with Allah. That's the reference for you. Jilbab is not allowed in the USA. Ibn Taymiyyah didn't say this nonsense. Ibn Taymiyyah said that clothing the Prophet ﷺ used to wear were a part of his culture, and it's okay to wear the clothing of your culture as long as that clothing does not oppose the Quran and Sunnah. So in this situation, if it opposes the Quran and the Sunnah, then this is now Ibn Taymiyyah says, because Ibn Taymiyyah, he will tell you to wear the jilbab. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Anyways, okay, Faisal, can you go turn your camera on, please? I can't see you, Faisal. Okay, no problem. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me?
How are you? I can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, first of all, I will say, I want to say, I love your hair. I don't know why.
I don't know akhi, what to do with you guys. Okay, do you have a question for me? You want me to remove
Yeah.
you from the stream
Yeah,
and,
so
put,
yeah, I
and
was
use the time, useful time for people who are actually looking for answers? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
actually I was reading Usul al-Thalatha, and
Okay.
I got through some chapter and so on, and
Hmm.
I read like about al-wala wal-bara,
Hmm.
and basically like you said like earlier in your live stream, you said that we shouldn't take as enemies like non-believers, and like I don't know how
I
to
said no.
like.
I know. I didn't say that. I said the question was, are non-Muslims our enemies, which means every non-Muslim is our enemy.
I
Where is
don't
that in the
understand.
Quran?
No, I
The
don't.
question
Can you
was,
repeat? Sorry.
is every non-Muslim our enemy? And I said no, not every non-Muslim is our enemy. Yeah. How does that oppose the Quran and Sunnah? Tell me.
Akhi,
Where
I'm
does
not
the Quran?
challenging you.
No. I'm not saying you're challenging me. I'm saying you said that something in the book is against that. Where does the book say that every non-Muslim is your enemy? The Uthul says Thalatha doesn't say that.
Yeah, I have to read it again, I think. Yeah, so my next
Are
question
you sure
is
you read it? What did you read then? What part did you read that confused you?
yeah, so I read the Sharh of Sheikh Ibn Salih al-Uthaymin rahimahullah. I read
Okay.
until like page
Do you have a
like
quotation? You don't have a quotation, so let's move on to the next question then. You don't have a quotation.
sorry, what?
You don't have a quotation of what it says, then you can move to the next question then.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. Also, like, subhanallah, someone just tagged me on Discord to tell me that I was on your live stream. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Also, it's about my second question is about Hijrah. So like, if we cannot do like da'wah on the country where we are in, and we cannot how do you say that? Um, I'm just trying to find my words. We cannot do da'wah in the country we are in, and we cannot practice publicly our religion and condemn publicly the kufr of the country. Should we? Is it fard for us to go and make hijrah?
If we cannot do the things which are obligations in our religion in that country, cannot pray, cannot show the teachings of Islam like the biha and prayer and all of these type of things, then you cannot eat halal meat, you cannot do these type of things, then you have it's obligation to do hijrah from that country. Yes. Okay. I'll let you go now, inshallah. Yeah.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Yes, you can turn your camera off. It's good you have a good name because it makes the people do dhikr, you know?
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's why I put it.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Good. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
My first question is: imagine someone lies about where they are going to be able to go to Jum'a prayer, because not lying would cause complications. Should they make tawbah for the lying?
Lying is lying.
Yeah, so they should.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is: imagine you're on the first row in the masjid, and you're leaning against a wall. So you have your back to the Kaaba. Is there any issue with this? Because someone's told me I shouldn't do that.
There are narrations of the companions doing this. Narration of Abdullah ibn Umar. He was sitting down when he was asked about the Khawarij, or he was asked about the Qadariya. Sorry, he was asked about the Qadariya, and they said to him, "There's a group that came out that says there is no Qadar. يدعون أن لا قدر." And the narration mentions that he جالس مسندا ظهره إلى الكعبة, sitting down and putting his back to the Kaaba. So there are many narrations that mentions similar things. So yeah, there's no problem.
Okay, that's clear. Barakallahu fiik.
No problem. Okay. يلا, السلام عليكم. Muhammad, your camera is off. Then don't take space, please. Muhammad Yahya. Yes. I'm gonna bring you on now. You wanna come on? Okay. Yes.
Assalamu
Go
alaikum
ahead.
wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Okay.
Brother, I wanted to ask you about a question specifically on behalf of my Orthodox Christian friend.
Okay.
He's on that path of like he's learning about Islam and he's learning about his own religion as well, but you can tell he's slowly understanding quite a lot of stuff. He specifically he wanted me to ask you about on the topic of Sharia punishments, because you know
Why doesn't he come? Why doesn't he come on and ask me?
I would think is I don't know. I guess his confidence. I guess.
Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead. Ask the question directly
so
then.
He wanted to ask specifically about like the Sharia punishments, and in more
Yes,
detail.
which one?
He said, for example, the stoning. You know, he's curious about that. Like, you know, the requirements of stoning, who gets it.
And he's Christian, yeah.
He's Orthodox Christian, yeah.
Tell him if you read the Old Testament or not yet.
He's read it. He's read it. He knows about the certain stuff in the Old Testament.
No. He knows about the stoning in the Old Testament as well, yeah.
Yeah, he knows there's like harsher punishments. He knows about it, yeah.
No, the stoning in particular in the Old Testament for adultery, for example.
I'm guessing he would. Yeah.
So what is the difference then if it's the same? But it's worse in the Bible because it doesn't have the judge have to apply the judgment and the Muslims cannot be vigilantes. There are verses that says that people can apply the judgment themselves in the Old Testament, which is something we don't believe. But if he's got worse, what is the question particular that he's asking? Basically, we've got stoning for certain sins in Islam. Yes, we believe that. That's what the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah, and that's it. There's nothing to explain.
I guess he's more curious about let's say like for like a particular example, like the requirements for it, because you know in his mind I think he may be thinking, oh, they just applied the punishment, there's no like check and balances before that, you know.
Yeah, it depends on, that's why I said it depends on which sin you're referring to. Look, of course you're talking about adultery, for example. Yes, there's 4 witnesses that must be present. They must witness the act of penetration with their own eyes. They have to describe it to the judge what they saw with their own eyes, right? They have to be all male, and they have to be willing to testify. They cannot be spying on people because the Quran prohibits people from spying. So that it has to be done in a place where 4 practicing Muslim men are just walking by and they see it, right? And then the judge is the one who applies the punishment. It's not for anyone to Muslim to be a vigilante and apply the punishment on his behalf. And all of them have to testify. If 3 do and one doesn't, they will be all flogged.
Right.
So there's a punishment for them for not for falsely, if you're gonna say false, not even falsely testify, but not having the enough requirement to do so. So you cannot make an accusation about someone without evidence. So there has to be evidence. This is basically the criteria, which is not going to really happen in reality. That's why we don't have examples in history. Ibn Taymiyyah, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah says the same thing. He says, I have not come across a single case in which stoning was done based on evidence. He saw it done based on people confessing and they saying, I did it, and therefore they're punished based on that. Even according to Islam, if someone comes and says, I did it, the judge should tell him to go and repent. If he keeps coming back, then the judge just punishes him.
Right.
So Islam is not trying to punish the people, but the punishment is there.
Yeah. I just want to bring some context into it, because I know some of the stuff you're talking about is better when a person of knowledge says it than, you know, just me, I guess.
No problem. Okay.
So the second question was in regards to us. I don't know why it's called. So I'll say you know when so let's say certain Muslims like sects or whatever maybe they
who's Muslims? Who's those people?
No, they are Muslim, no doubt. It's just some let's say
no. Yeah, Muslim, not Muslim. I don't know who's Muslims.
That was
Muslims. Yeah.
No, Muslim.
Okay, yes. No, be careful, because we can say the S. Even the kuffar can say the S. I don't know what this. Do you say this?
That's my bad. That's my bad. Yeah, I know.
It's okay. Go ahead.
So I want to ask about when certain sects or some certain people say that you're allowed to seek intermediaries, and they may use hadith to back it up and say, I'm doing this in the.
What's the difference? What's the difference between that and the kuffar of Quraysh and the idols?
No, nothing.
Bring me the one difference. Why what's the difference there? What Allah called what they're doing shirk. and said they're going to hellfire, it's no difference.
Yeah.
And they said we only worship them to bring us closer to Allah. ما نعبدهم إلا ليقربونا إلى الله زلفى. We're only using them as means to get to Allah. According to them, so it's the same thing. There's no difference.
So
Okay.
I want to ask, yeah. So you know when you try to use hadith to back it, are those hadiths like let's say fabricated or da'if or
Which hadith? Which hadith?
I don't. I come across like Instagram feeds or of.
No,
of
now you're
certain-
asking a third question. You had two questions.
no,
Yeah?
okay,
Next time. next time, inshallah. Yeah.
It's fine, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Salam alaikum. Okay, Yusuf. Yusuf أيها الصديق. Okay, I'll bring you on. Just give me 1 second, inshallah. Yeah. Can jinn possess human? Can this be done by humans? I don't know. This is a confusing question. Yes, jinn can confuse humans. I don't understand the second part of the question. Jinn can possess humans and confuse them too. Yeah, that is also possible. Yeah, so jinn can possess humans according to the Quran has an example like in the verse of the riba. كالذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس. Like the person that the shaitan has possessed or the jinn possessed. So the Quran uses that terminology. And there's a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, اخرج يا عدو الله, which is explicit, where there was a person who's possessed by a jinn. Okay, Yusuf.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
How are you? Good?
Good. I was having a conversation with a friend recently where we were trying to research.
Sorry, just give me 1 second. No one else joins, brothers, because we're not going to have anyone else. So whoever, if anyone joins, there's no link, but if anyone joins, it will be removed. Yeah? Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. I was having a conversation with a friend recently, and we were trying to determine the correct understanding of what happens to people who never received the true message of Islam, either before.
Chapter 17 of the Quran, verse 15. Allah says, we're not going to punish a people until we send them a messenger. They have a different test on the Day of Judgment.
Understood. But what we were talking about was what qualifies, and maybe you've answered already, but what qualifies them having received the true message?
Is to hear the message of Islam or the message of the Quran. To
Yeah,
hear
and-
is one God, the Prophet sent to you, and this is the book that you need to follow. Not
And
to
how do
hear
we
a
know-
wrong idea.
Yeah.
Not to hear a wrong idea. To hear the information about the messenger and the Quran and Allah.
Yeah, and the reason I asked this is because, of course, as Muslims, we want to see everybody accept Islam because we understand it to be the truth and to be beneficial now and in the hereafter. But when we encounter people who you can tell the reason that they are not accepting seems to not be because of what we are saying, right? It's like they're getting derailed due to maybe some misinformation about Islam. So like the true message is corrupted in their mind.
I don't agree with that. I think
Mhm.
there's only two types of people, sincere and unsincere.
Mm.
And in my
Mm.
experience, this was always the case. There's no one who is completely confused. There's no such thing. If they're confused and sincere, whenever you start asking answer their questions, they don't argue with you back because they are looking for answers. Yeah. While
That's a good point.
the person who just argues with you and then starts to bring another thing and a third thing, he's not looking for answers to begin with, right? It's as simple as that. There are sincere
Yeah.
people and insincere people, and that's it. Some people looking for a haqq and some people are not. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows what's in their hearts.
Mm.
Look, within the first 10 minutes of any conversations, I'm usually able to tell if the person is sincere or not. Doesn't take more than 10 minutes. It's less usually, but I'm giving you the maximum. 10 minutes is going to be enough for me to know if that person is actually, from his apparent actions, is actually seeking the truth or not.
Yeah, and I think
That's
where
why I'm commenting on
Yeah.
that. That's why sometimes I will deal with certain people in certain ways that people will not understand because I'm dealing with them because I know they're not sincere in a specific way, you know? That I wouldn't deal with it with someone that I know that is sincere, that is actually looking for the truth. And to assume that everyone has the same medicine or way to be dealt with, a lot of people assume that, which is not correct, you know?
But this is where we were trying to discern is how do we know if they are sincere or not? I can understand that intuitively you might feel like this person isn't sincere. I see it all the time.
When they
and I
start,
would-
when they, yeah, no, look, it's not, there's not like a black and white answer. Do you get the point? It depends on the individual. Like some people, look, for me, it's as simple as that. When they start denying common sense, right? You say to someone, that the building is here, he says to you the building is not here. I don't exist. The universe doesn't. All this nonsense that you hear, yeah, because deep down they know all of this is false. Every human being knows he exists. If he didn't know he exists, he wouldn't come on the stream to begin with. Yeah. So these type of people that start denying common sense, and when you give them an answer to the question, they argue again and argue again and argue again and deny common sense. Like there was an example of maybe the last video I uploaded of that guy giving an example that testimony is a part, and give him an answer. Then he acts like he never heard the answer. He comes back. He starts contradicting himself. He ignores the answers that you given, interrupts. All of these type of things, right? Are signs of insincerity. There are signs. If you do not know the sign, these are things you can study, you can learn with experience. But generally, there are signs. It's not a black and white answer if that's what you're asking for. I cannot give you like a black. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Right? It's not. I cannot give you a black and white answer. But it's usually rejecting the truth when it's made clear. That's enough for someone for you to know that someone is not sincere. This is the criteria.
Yeah.
If he rejects the truth after it's been made clear to him.
Yeah, I actually know what you're talking about. You encounter these people a lot, and they'll keep moving the goalposts, and you'll resolve every question they have, and then they run away. They run away. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so then maybe as a good follow-up question to this, of course, imagine this person is someone who maybe you have some relation with, like someone you would like to see accept Islam. Obviously, you want everyone to accept Islam. What do we think might be good long-term strategy, dawah strategy, to maybe turn some of these people around? Because I think sometimes when we watch it on YouTube, it's a very public forum, and I think this can sometimes cause people to be resistant to accepting the message because it might be embarrassing for them to admit they were wrong. What might be a good long-term strategy for all of us to do to try and work with these insincere people to bring them to sincerity? I know it's a difficult question.
Take them to someone in real life who has a problem. Or arrange a private discussion. I do sometimes private discussions for people who DM me and stuff like that. One of the two, inshallah. Okay, I have to let you go, inshallah.
That's good.
Barakallah fiqh, brother, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, Kaboob. I don't know these names, to be honest. Okay. In Surah Taha, the magicians say the Lord of Aaron and Musa. In Surah Araf, the magicians say Lord of Musa and Aaron. How can I reconcile this? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to answer this question. Like, seriously, there is no contradictions to reconcile. Okay, brother? Allah musta'an. Okay. Kaboob. Okay, I'm going to kick you out. Hamza Al-Bidwini. I said no one should join. Those people that joined, I'm going to remove you. And if you join again, I will ban you. Because people keep doing these things. Okay, you can turn the camera off if you want, Hamza. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
What are you doing with this nice cat? Okay.
So I am from North Sweden, so my English is very bad. Can we take it in Arabic?
You speak in Arabic, I'll respond in English. Yeah, go ahead.
أريد أن أسأل عن إذا الأرض مسطحة أو لا في القرآن. So
there is no verse that says in the Quran that the earth is flat. Whenever the Quran uses the word al-ard, it does not mean planet Earth in every place. Yeah, that's a misunderstanding of the people. When it's used in conjunction with the samawat, then this is mostly referring to planet Earth. But when the word ard is used, it's referring to land. وَالَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ بِسَاطًا لِتَسْلُكُوا فِيهَا سُبُلًا فِجَاجًا. He's the one who made for you the land, right? Spread out so you can walk on it. Is the land you walk on it spread out? Yes. And I walk on it. Because the word ard there is referring to land, not planet Earth. Yeah. Does it say وَالَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمْ كَوْكَبَ الْأَرْضِ بِسَاطًا? The planet Earth بِسَاطًا, right? It just says al-ard. And we in the Arabic language, as you know, we call this earth, right? Your bedroom floor, you call it ard.
Sorry.
So there's no, this is the Arabic language. There's no problem there.
طيب حركة الأرض لأنه سمعت مثلا بعض علماء.
I don't think there is anything explicit on that in the Quran or the Sunnah.
الله ذكر في القرآن والذي جعل لكم الأرض قرارا.
Okay. Qirara means a mustaqar, place that you can have qarar in, you as an individual. جعل لكم الأرض قرارا. قرارا لكم. أي مستقرا لكم. It's not that the earth is not moving or something.
نعم، لأني أنا كمان سمعت لبعض علماء السنة.
Yeah, we don't want to go
صالح
into like.
فوزان.
Yeah, look, brother, you could mentioning names and this. Look, look, I told you the answer, and it's up to you. يلا, السلام عليكم. جزاك الله.
أوكي، جزاك الله خير.
Okay, Tom Cruise, Muslim version. I'm gonna bring you soon. Just give me 1 second, Tom Cruise. Okay, Islamically coined definition of gym position. This is not. I don't know what you mean. If you mean the Islamic term of gym position, is mas. Mim sin عليها شدة. Okay, Muslim Tom Cruise, bringing you on. You want the camera on, yeah? Up to you. I'm gonna bring you on, yeah? Okay. Yes, Muslim Tom Cruise. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Walaikum assalam, Muhammad. Can you hear me?
Why Muslim Tom Cruise? Why Muslim Tom Cruise? Like, okay.
That's the name of my YouTube channel. I mean, I debate atheists and so on and so forth.
Okay, you're coming to get a free clout, yeah? Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. I'm just joking with you. Go ahead. Yes.
No, I know. So, Muhammad Ali, just a very simple question, right? So, my question is basically, you remember basically you were talking to the Christian about Prophet's marriage to Aisha and so on and so forth, right? So, you mentioned about basically the beauty of Islam is that, like, there's a criteria for marriage. There isn't an age, right? And you mentioned there's no the woman sexually mature, mentally mature, and the wali's permission and so on and so forth. But the wali's permission, but I believe that the wali's permission is basically it's what's it called? It's optional, right? In some cases, basically, like
No. What does the Prophet ﷺ say? I don't care what later people, scholars, quote unquote scholars said. What did the Prophet ﷺ say? He said, لا نكاح إلا بولي. There is no marriage. لا نكاح. There is no marriage without a wali. He also says, whoever marriage that is done without a wali is batil. Batil. 3 times. It's invalid. So I'm going to leave the Prophet ﷺ and go to some scholar somewhere later on, how many years later, who told me that maybe he didn't reach the hadith, didn't reach him. He didn't know, who said something like this. No, look, Islam is based on the Quran and Sunnah. When people disagree, the Quran tells us to go back to the Quran and Sunnah. The statement of the Prophet is clear.
I agree 100%. But what I'm talking about is in some cases, let's say if the wali is being abusive for some reason, is basically is rejecting someone for some
wilaya then is moved to someone else, but still you need a wali. So if the wilaya is moved from the father to the grandfather, he's still the wali. If it's used to the son after that, then he's still a wali. If she has a son, then her son is her wali, etc. So there is a wali always, but it's just moved to someone else. If there is no wali at all, then the judge, he appoints someone for her. You understand? It's always a wali in every case.
So my question was actually about the first 3 things, right? So let's say
you already asked your question, but okay, your last question, yes.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No problem.
I was talking about basically the fact that all of those basically the criteria that you mentioned. So basically if someone basically wants to quote the literature, like how do basically we come up with this criteria according to Quran and the Sunnah? I know it's a very long question, but can you just
I gave you the first one, yeah? I gave you the first one, which is the Prophet ﷺ. He says there is no marriage without a wali. And he says whatever marriage is done without a wali is invalid. These 2 different hadith, right? And the second one is la dara wa la darar. You cannot harm anyone else, yourself or anyone else. That's the criteria for physical and psychological marriage. What else do you need?
Okay, the harm basically, yeah. Is that from?
And also we said the woman's permission is also needed, right? And I talked about that, and that's in the Prophet ﷺ, he said that لا تنكح البكر حتى تستأذن. The bikr, the virgin, is not given in marriage until her permission is asked. Okay, what else you asking for?
Okay, and it was sexually mature. You get the point, right? Sexually mature.
Yeah, sexually mature is obviously. We just said that. This is the la darra wa la darar. It's the same idea of la darra wa la darar. It's the same understanding of la darra wa la darar.
I get all the points. But let's say if I want to I know preferably like you expect basically to non-Muslims to come here and speak to you 100%, but actually, I just want to ask you just one thing, that is that
because marriage is not you can do the marriage but not the intercourse. You can do the marriage at any age, the marriage contract with a baby. There is no problem. Yeah, 100%. But this criteria for physical is for the intercourse that I'm referring to. I'm referring to the intercourse, actually engaging.
I want to read more on the literature, because let's say if I'm debating some atheist, yeah, and if I basically
mention them, brother, stop caring too much what they think. Who cares what they think, brother? This is the problem today with the people doing da'wah. thinking we need to I don't care what he thinks, man. Look, my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam married. This is the hadith I already gave you. I give you more than enough, yeah. Which I don't even wouldn't even need. No, brother. It's important just to mention this point for everyone listening. It's not about you, and don't take it personally, right? For everyone listening, we don't need to convince no one. Look, we believe in our religion. We believe in our tradition. This is our criteria. Like it, don't like it. Is the door is there? You can leave. And when you die, you meet your Lord in hellfire. This is not something that we're concerned about, right? Our criteria, alhamdulillah, is valid, it's clear, it's rational, it makes sense. I don't need to convince someone, right? For the things I believe, I've given you the references, right? The one about la dara wala darara, the one about the marriage, etc., and the one about permission. All of these are should be more than enough for you.
100%. If I want to read basically more about this literature, yeah. So basically that I can connect the literature to the person that I'm debating in the future. Let's say.
That's fine.
So then the literature basically on this would be. Can you recommend me like a book or something like that on this?
No, I don't. It is not. This was never an issue for anyone to write a book on it. Do you understand? This was always a normal thing. So I'm just giving you this hadith.
Is there something called like the Kitab al-Nikah that has all the basic criteria of marriage in Islam and so on and so forth? There's something called the Kitab al-Nikah.
If open any book of hadith, you'll find Kitab al-Nikah. But it's not just going to have these. It's going to have everything related to marriage, basically.
Okay,
all the hadith related to marriage.
Muhammad Ali, I'm so sorry for taking so long of a time.
No problem, inshallah. No problem.
And I also want to say this: you were debating the angry atheist. If you remember, you posted the video, right? He was talking about testimonial evidences and so forth. How does he believe basically Antarctica exists? Has he been to Antarctica? He hasn't been to Antarctica, but he still believes it exists, right?
I know. Anyways, he's not sincere from a long time ago. I saw him commenting. I can show a list of tens of comments he was making. So I already knew his mentality before I bring him on. Anyways, but may Allah guide him. Okay, I'll let you go now. No problem. Hey, brother. Yeah, hey, brother. Okay, I said the people shouldn't join. Now I'm going to have to ban the people who joined extra. Okay. Yes, hey, brother, you can turn your camera off. Assalamu alaikum, hey, brother.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. Just a quick question. I've got two questions. The first one is about if you received some money that is not halal, whether it is through lottery or what have you, are you allowed to give it as a sadaqah?
You get rid of it. It's not considered a sadaqah. If you repent and you want to, you don't know what to do with that money, it's called takhallus min al-mal. You do takhallus of it. You get rid of it. So your intention is not. This is not sadaqah. Sadaqah is an action in which you use from your own money. You understand? Which is you get reward from donating from your own cash, your own money. But you get rid of it. You will get rewarded for getting rid of it, of course, but it's not called sadaqah. It's not considered a sadaqah.
Okay, good stuff. The second question again is to do with money. If you are to borrow money from a bank to buy a house, your first house, is that considered to be riba?
If the contract of borrowing the money has riba in it, then yeah, it's riba, of course. If the contract has riba, how can it not be riba?
Yeah, because the problem in nowadays is really difficult to get.
You don't need to buy a house, brother. I live in a house is rented. Why do you need to live a house? To buy a house. If you want to buy a house, work harder and make more money and buy your own house. But generally, you can live in a rented place. Everyone can live in a rented place. Why do you need to buy a house? You want to? Some people, they want to brag to other people they have a house. Why do we need to have a house? Look, you can, especially if you live in the West, you can buy 100 houses back home, but you want a house in the West with riba, subhanallah.
Actually, it's not about showing off, really. It's not about.
It's not you. I'm speaking in general. in general.
Yeah, I'm also talking in general. No, really, it's not about me. It's not about showing off. It just makes more sense to buy a house than paying rent because financially you are worse off.
I don't agree. I disagree completely.
Okay.
I would prefer even to rent a place than to buy a place, because look, you can spend 200,000 pounds and die the next day, and it's not necessarily any guarantee for anything. And by these houses, you have to always fix, right? When you rent, you can move from the place even if the house condition becomes worse. The landlord pays. There's benefits in both of them, right? We're not saying it's haram to get a house or anything like that. We're saying, look, you cannot do something haram and say that the ends justifies the means. You get what I'm trying to say? It's not a necessity to buy a house that to live in a house that you bought. It's as simple as that. That's what we're saying. We don't need to argue why people buy what people don't buy. We're talking about the Islamic ruling, basically.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you, and I'm not arguing there. It's just a question of how to get my head around it and to understand it really well.
No problem. No problem. And
that's
people, just people in general who are listening as well. I'm just usually when I'm speaking in general. I'm not addressing the person that is asking me the question. So it's not personal to anyone, basically. Anyone who's going to come on as well. I'm speaking in general usually. Yeah. Okay, I'll let you go, inshallah, brother.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah?
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, Hamid. Hamid, can you turn your camera on? Okay, you want to turn it off? Yes, salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum, akhi.
How are you, brother?
My first question is, I wanted to ask is if it is permissible to pray Isha and Maghrib together, because here I live in Germany. Here in Germany, the Isha prayer time is really late, and I usually have to go to work early morning.
No, it's not permissible. You pray Isha at time. You sleep, wake up, and sleep again. What's the problem?
Okay.
No one said don't sleep. Just sleep and wake up. Sleep. It's just like people do with Fajr. They wake up, they pray Fajr, and they go back to sleep. Yeah, you can't sleep again. There's no problem. Okay.
Okay. And the second question is it permissible to work on a gas station where it also sells cigarettes and alcoholic beverage?
Wallahi, I would not work in that. I would not recommend anyone to work in there, especially with the hadith that have cursing. If anyone to anything to do with alcohol, 10 types of people are cursed when it comes to alcohol. The one who hold it, the one who sells it, the one who do asr, squeezing it. All of these type of people are cursed. You know what cursing is? La'na is in Islam, is being out of Allah's mercy. Yani if I don't know what else that can be a deterrent for you to engage in anything related to these things. Yeah, that's what I would say. Okay.
Okay, akhi, thank you very much.
No problem. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, Ken. I don't know. Okay. Are you Muslim, brother?
Yeah, I'm Muslim. Salam alaikum.
Okay. Alaikum salam. Okay.
I'm from a revert background, so I've not early from this year I've been getting more like I found out more about like the Ashari belief and all of that. So I do believe that the Athari belief is the right belief, but I wanted to ask, like, do we as Atharis say that God is outside space and time, or how does that work? Do we say that God is outside space and time, like outside like physical space and time? Like
does the Quran or the Hadith anywhere talk about Allah being in or outside space and time?
I don't think so.
I say what the Quran says. Quran says Allah is in the sama. I say Allah is in the sama. Quran says Allah is above the arsh. I say Allah is above the arsh, and I stop there.
So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defines himself as being above the arsh, so is it like being outside creation, or
above the arsh is above the arsh? We all understand what above the arsh means in language. In language, above the arsh means above the arsh. I don't know. I don't need. It's like someone is saying, "Explain to me what water is." Do you get the point? Look, these things which are clear cut. The people who get misguided are the people who try to play games intellectually in every little detail of what Allah says, even if it's clear cut as the sun. Yeah, Allah is above the arsh. The arsh is above everything, and Allah is above everything because He's above the arsh, which is above everything. As simple as that.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, that's all the question I had.
No problem. Okay, no problem. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, Muhammad. How do I join? Next time, inshallah, because you're late. So it's next time, inshallah. Correction 7-1. I don't know which one you're referring to, brother. I don't see your other comment. Do jinn have free will? 3, 4, 12 says they don't. It doesn't say that in any way, shape, or form. You're misunderstanding. All it says that the jinn were subdued to Sulaiman alayhi salam. And they were working for him, the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's all it says. Those jinn, specific jinns that were at the time of Sulaiman, not all the jinn, those jinns were subdued to Sulaiman. I mean, by force they had to obey his command. That doesn't mean they don't have free will. Okay, Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I the last person?
No, there are few people.
Oh, okay. So I got two questions. One's
Okay,
on
let me just ban this a Muslim potato. This one. Wait. Okay, because he's joined later. Okay, go ahead.
First question's on Sadaqah Jariyah. So, what is considered Sadaqah Jariyah? Like, for example, if I give 1p to a cause such as building a mosque, does that count? And if
yeah, it counts.
Oh, okay. And okay, that's simple. And in terms of Sadaqah Jariyah, how far does it go? So, for example, if I teach my kids Islam and they teach their kids and they teach their kids, can it still be my reward?
It's not considered sadaqah there. It's a righteous action you will get rewarded for.
So even when, like, for example, my great-great-grandkids are doing something that
you get rewarded based on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he said, the one who leads to good is like the one who's doing the good. And the one who starts a good sunnah, he will have the reward of it, and the person who does it, right? So none of them will be subdued from the reward, but he will get a reward like him, right? Okay. So based on that, these are the hadith that we use for these type of things, basically.
Okay, and the second question is about like seeking knowledge. So what is like the basic route to go through? For example, if I want to be a da'i,
start with the Quran.
I need to... Sorry?
Read the Quran, translation of the Quran, tafsir of the Quran.
Yeah, I was going to say, of course, like becoming happy, learning as much of the Quran first. But then when it comes to like branching out to other issues where you want to refute
have you done that? Problems. Have you done that? Do you memorize the Quran?
No, I'm not doing it for myself.
No. I'm asking whoever it is that when he comes to me and then he shows me he memorized the Quran, I've read the tafsir and understood, I'll tell him the next step, right? But people always ask these. Trust me, wallahi, brother, it's useless questions because they don't do the first step. You get the point?
Yeah.
What can I do? What can I do? Which book? You give him 100 books and he doesn't read anything.
Yeah,
right?
You can't guide people if you don't know yourself, of course.
Yeah. No. If people don't act on the advice, there is no problem with seeking the advice. Yeah. So they say, I want to know what is the steps to take. You give him the first step, he never does it. Do you understand? So you have to give him a step by step. When he does the first one, then we tell him the second one, inshallah. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Jazakallah.
No problem, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Nino. You gonna turn your camera on or no? Or should I remove you? Okay, I'm gonna bring someone else because they have the camera on. Ibn Umar, can you show me your face because I can see you? Okay? Can turn your camera if you want off. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. I was having a question about when it comes to like inheritance. Let's say there's 3 other kids and I'm the oldest. I have one side of the family telling me, and I didn't have a good relationship with my father, but there's one side of my family telling me that I have inheritance, and then there's the other side is telling me that there is no inheritance. If there is inheritance and I don't want it, is it haram to not accept it?
What does the Quran say? What is your situation?
Basically, someone may have my inheritance for like a house or whatever. I say I don't really want it. Someone told me that
it's choice.
Like it's haram to not accept.
No, okay. That's not true. As long as it's with your free will, then it becomes a hiba. You get as a gift. You give it as a gift. You give your inheritance as a gift. There's no problem in doing that. It's permissible.
Okay. And second question is celebrating birth, because I don't do it, but I try to avoid my family, but they argue with me. Is celebrating birthdays like minor shirk because of the origins?
It's not no, I wouldn't go that far, but I will say Prophet didn't do it, Sahaba didn't do it, Tabi'in didn't do it. It's opposite to the Sunnah. That's what I would say.
Okay, طيب.
No problem. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, Muaz Khan. Camera on or off, up to you. Yeah, bringing you on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa
Some people
barakatuh.
complain. That's the problem. That's why.
No, it's fine. Yeah, look, I just had a request because there's a non-Muslim who's quite inclined to Islam. Before I ask my questions, I was wondering if it's possible for you to reach out to him. He's also like combating anti-Islam content. I can give you his YouTube channel name, and because
whoever it is, they can reach out to me.
Well, he doesn't know you, and I don't know if he. I don't know how he can reach you realistically, to be honest.
How can I reach him realistically?
Well, I don't know. On YouTube, can you message each other or like email each other?
No, there's no email. Why don't you do the email on my behalf then? Go ahead. But brother, look, I don't got time to follow everyone and try to email and this and that. You get what I'm trying to say? There's many people who are looking for the truth. Thousands of people. I get DMs from non-Muslims all the time, and they come on and I talk to them. Right? If someone is interested, he's welcome to come on. But for me to reach out to people to invite them, no, I don't have time to do that. And I've seen the effects of doing that before, of a lot of people ignoring and this and that. We don't have. This is a wasted time. Do you understand? We can put into something more useful. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you
that's
might
my
feel
email
like
here. That's my email here. It's not about what I feel like, brother. This is what I'm gonna do. So, do you have any other questions for me? This is what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
Sure.
Yes.
I'll actually come to my questions. So yeah, my first question is basically a follow-up from what I think the brother before this last one asked you. That I mean, when we actually are seeking knowledge, I mean, isn't it recommended? And I mean, one of the scholars also said sometimes when you might get bored of doing one thing, so it's better to branch out as well. So would you recommend us
anyone who gets bored from seeking Islamic knowledge will never become knowledgeable? That's my answer to you.
La. Look, knowledge comprises of a number of things like the Quran, tafsir, aqidah, seerah as well.
No. Just like Sheikh al-Islam al-Qayyim said, العلم قال الله قال رسوله قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان العلم نصبك للخلاف سفاهة بين الرسول وبين قول فلان. Knowledge is Allah said, the Prophet said, and the companions said. That's it. If you get bored of these three things, then you're never going to be a person of knowledge. So we tell you to start with the Quran because it's Allah said, and that's the basis of knowledge. And Hadith is the explanation of the Quran and the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the companions is them implementing the Quran and the Hadith. This is the whole Islam. This is the whole.
Yeah. So exactly. So this means we can study seerah alongside as well because it's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
If you want to get confused. Up to you. It's up to you. If you want to do a branch yourself and get confused, and you don't know what's happening. Anyways, when you're studying the tafsir of the Quran, you're studying the seerah because the Quran has parts of the seerah. You will be studying the seerah with the Quran, anyways.
But
you cannot study the Quran without learning about the seerah.
It won't be in order though, would it? Because the Quran...
brother, I told you what to do. You can do whatever you want to do.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Let's skip this one. I'll ask another one. We'll skip this one.
But make sure, brother, and I'm not trying to treat you differently here, but the point is when you ask a question, you expect an answer. You don't argue with the answer. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You see what is the question? You ask the question. I give a simple answer. And khalas. If you disagree with me, you don't have to agree with me. It's okay. But this is my answer. Khalas, that's it.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's best we leave this one. I'll go on to the next one. It's basically the hadith which says the best mahar is the smallest one, the smallest amount possible. And
I don't know the authenticity of this one. I have to look into it.
Okay.
I believe there's talk about the authenticity of the hadith that you're referring to.
Can I get another question then if this is not authentic?
Okay, quickly, yeah. No problem.
So is this one authentic then? Only let a pious person eat your food.
Yeah, this one is authentic, yeah.
So how do we actually combine
it? This is mu'min.
The...
It doesn't say pious, it says believer. Mu'min.
Okay, so how do we actually compile this with the other hadith? Whoever lets their neighbor go hungry isn't actually a Muslim.
Yeah, this is about it's different. It's different there. It's not just eating food complete in every way, shape, or form. It's about inviting and bringing them into your house and eating with them and engaging with them. This is what the hadith is referring to. It's not referring to giving food to anyone, right? Because you can give food to a Muslim or a non-Muslim. There's no problem there. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Are you still in the area where you normally do your videos?
No,
because I want to actually. Sorry, I want to. It's just a quick one. Just a yes or no, because I want to come and ask you more deeper questions. But I
don't have a schedule, brother. There's a problem. If you catch me one day, then maybe you can talk a little bit, inshallah. Yeah.
Yeah, but there were like some construction going on last time I went there, so I'm just asking.
That's why. No, I don't have a schedule. It's a problem. I don't go in a specific day. You understand?
True.
I try to avoid people coming to find me. So I
True, true,
I
true.
don't
But
have a
I'm saying that
scripture.
there was a fencing over there. So maybe if that's not there, then I'll come.
No,
I
we are
thought
there
that was
anyways. Even if there is a fence, we're the opposite side or something like that. We're always there, right? 5 days a week.
okay, okay,
So
okay,
yeah. Okay, no problem.
okay.
Yalla, salam
Jazakallah
alaikum.
khair. Take care. Assalamu
No
alaikum.
problem. Salam alaikum. Okay, brothers and sisters, and this was the last person. Okay. We're gonna end the stream in a couple of minutes now. I don't delete the Q&As. I don't delete the Q&As. The Q&As are always there in the playlist. If you go to channel, click playlist, you'll find the Q&As. I remove the streams which have me talking to non-Muslims because I upload them as separate clips. In the beginning of the time of Fajr. Every prayer. The best is to pray in the beginning. Yes, I do have a new camera. Some brother, may Allah reward you, me donated. But I need to see how it's not the one I'm using right now. The one I'm using right now is the same camera, but there's another new camera, inshallah, that brother brought that I'll try to use, but I need to just get accustomed to it, how it works and this and that. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ameen. Wa iyyakum. I'tikaf is at the masjid, not home. It's an action that is done in the mosque. Come back next Ramadan and I will answer you. When you come back next Ramadan, and then we can talk about this. But it's not Ramadan anymore. You see, if this was a question, you would have probably got an answer. But because it's a statement, you got no answer, you see? You missed an opportunity to get your question answered. You know, somewhere in a land called the UK, you can then try to search for me there. You'll find me. Maybe. You need to do some searching. Well, hijrah is a good way to start. Do some hijrah. Please do some hijrah for a period of time to learn at least. تفسير السعدي أو السعدي Sheikh of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen or مختصر Ibn Kathir, one of the two. You can start with these two for a lay person. Because I said so. Well, it's not a must to delay. It's if you delay it a little bit, delay it before midnight. Yeah, if you delay it before midnight, you get a reward. You get a reward like a 1 or 2 hours maybe after the time. You get a more rewards, but you don't have to. It's a recommended thing basically. Also, brother, what is the correct sunnah on travel prayer for people who travel every day, go to work at different? If you travel, you can pray. You can do qasr. If you travel the traveling distance, you can do qasr. But what are you traveling for? For what reason? Are you traveling for work, or are you traveling for? I travel. I every day for work. I every day work. I go to, because the problem, the way you wrote the question is okay. Yeah, travel every day for work. I go to different states every day. If you travel to different states, khair, inshallah, you can do qasr, inshallah. Or you can pray the full prayer is up to you. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's time to end, inshallah. I will see you in a different time. Okay, brother, last question. My uncle, born Muslim, says he believes there is some supreme. Why everyone sending super chats now? And it's time for me to go. Okay, my uncle, born Muslim, says he believes there is some supreme superpower. Doesn't believe in Quran, Islam, praying, etc. Is marriage valid? Of course not. It's not valid. The person does not believe in the Quran, he's not a Muslim, and he's a man. Any man who's not a Muslim is not permissible for that person to be married. الزوج لا يصلي ولديها منه 3 أطفال. هو جيد جدا في معاملتها ولا يقصر في حقها. هل تنصحها بالطلاق؟ Well, brother, I'm not the one who's going to give advice on should she get divorced or she shouldn't get divorced. And this is, let her go ask a scholar on this issue whether she should get divorced or not. Because my opinion on the person who leaves the prayer is different from Alim's opinion, and I'm not going to tell you what to do in her marriage based on my opinion and the fiqh opinion of this issue. I don't want to take that burden on the Day of Judgment. So let her go to a scholar or someone else to ask that question, inshallah. Inshallah, one day. If I'm still alive. Okay, brothers and sisters, anything I say good is from Allah. Anything I say wrong is from me and the shaitan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.